Have you ever felt that inside your own family, you're the one who thinks differently, acts differently, and sees life in a way no one else seems to understand? If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because this video was made exactly for you. Today, you're going to discover 10 clear signs that you are the different one in your family. Not in a negative way, but in the sense of being the one who came to break cycles, change patterns, and build a life no one before you had the courage to pursue. And understanding this is liberating, because when you recognize who you truly are, you stop blaming yourself. You stop seeking approval from places that never gave it, and you begin walking your own path with much more strength, clarity, and purpose. Maybe you've always felt like you don't fit in, like you don't speak the same language as everyone else, like your ambitions, your values, and your boundaries are completely different. But is that a problem or a sign of greatness? And let me ask you, have you ever been criticized for thinking too big? Have you ever been called dramatic, stubborn, or weird just because you don't follow the path everyone else follows? Have you ever felt like, inside your own home, you're the only one who truly wants to change your life? If the answer is yes, you are exactly where you need to be. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this happens and how to use this difference as a powerful advantage to create the life you deserve. So go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Have you ever felt like the different one in your family? I really want to read your story. Now let's begin. Before I show you each sign, there's something important you need to understand. Being different has never been a flaw. On the contrary, it's almost always a sign of evolution. The people who truly transform their families are usually those who dare to be different. And that's exactly what places you on another level. Throughout life, it's common for those who think differently to be criticized, discouraged, or even seen as the strange one. But that doesn't happen because you're wrong. It happens because your mindset is years ahead of the environment you came from. And when someone evolves, it makes others uncomfortable. The truth is, there comes a moment when you realize you can't see the world the way your family does. Your ambitions are different, your sense of responsibility is different, and even your emotional perception of life is different. And that is a clear sign that you were born to break old patterns. You're not alone. Millions of people silently carry the weight of being the only ones who want something bigger, the only ones who refuse to repeat their parents' mistakes, the only ones who seek more discipline, more awareness, more growth, and more future. If you feel this, you're part of a rare minority. Throughout this video, you'll see that being different is a massive strength. It's what allows you to change your story and the story of everyone who comes after you. Now that you understand this, let's go to the first sign, and I guarantee you're going to relate much more than you expect. Sign 1. You think bigger than your family. From a young age, you felt that your ambitions don't match the environment you grew up in. While your family thinks about surviving, you think about evolving. While they focus on the present moment, you think about where you could be in 5 or 10 years. And this creates an enormous difference in how you see life. You dream higher, envision bigger paths, seek knowledge, and want to achieve things no one around you ever imagined. This isn't always accepted. Many times you hear things like, "That's not for people like us," or "You don't need that." But still, something inside you won't let you quit. And this mentality is not arrogance. It's vision. It's the ability to see beyond the obvious. It's knowing that your life does not have to be limited to what your family lived. This sign shows that you carry an energy of expansion. And people with that kind of energy will always be seen as different. When you think bigger, it feels like you speak a language no one understands. Sometimes you even try to shrink your dreams just to avoid looking too much. But that never works, because those who were born to build something great can't settle for the bare minimum. Your mind always pulls you upward. This is one of the most powerful signs of all. It proves that you didn't come here to repeat your family's story, but to write an entirely new one. And though it may cause discomfort, it is one of your greatest strengths. If you think big, you already are the different one. Sign 2. You question everything that has always been normal in your family. While most people simply accept traditions, habits and behaviors as if they were unchangeable, you've always felt the need to question. You look at certain attitudes, beliefs, and patterns and think, why is it done this way? Or, why doesn't anyone try to change this? And that already puts you on another level. Questioning isn't being rebellious. It's being conscious. It's refusing to live on autopilot. Most people follow family patterns out of fear, habit, or lack of vision. But you see that there are much better paths than the ones that were handed to you, and this shows your awakening. Often this creates conflict. When you question something that's always been like this, some people feel attacked. They confuse your desire for evolution with disrespect. But deep down, what you want is simply to break cycles and build something healthier and more intelligent. This behavior, no matter how uncomfortable it makes others, is one of the greatest signs of personal growth. The people who change generations are exactly those who dare to look at their own history and say, this doesn't make sense, and I don't want to repeat it. That takes strength. If you've always questioned what no one around you had the courage to face, you're already a point outside the curve. And that's exactly what separates ordinary people from those who change destinies. Sign 3. You feel mentally and emotionally out of place. Sometimes you're in the same room as your family, but you feel like you're in a different world. The conversations don't interest you, the priorities don't make sense, and the energy of the environment feels completely misaligned with yours. That creates a deep feeling of not belonging. And that feeling is not weakness, it's sensitivity, it's awareness. It's the realization that your mind is in another stage of maturity. While many remain stuck in gossip, meaningless arguments, or destructive behaviors, you feel like you no longer belong in that kind of space. This emotional displacement also comes from the fact that you see things others ignore. Problems no one admits, toxic patterns everyone pretends not to notice, responsibilities no one wants to assume. You perceive everything, even when you wish you didn't. And because of that, many times you prefer to stay quiet or isolate yourself because you know there's no point trying to fit in. And this choice is not escapism, it's self-preservation. It's you protecting your energy and avoiding absorbing behaviors that would drag you down. If you've ever felt like the odd one out, even among the people who should be closest to you, understand this. It doesn't make you less, it makes you deeper, more aware, and far more prepared to build a life completely different from the one you grew up in. Sign 4. You have habits and values completely different from your family's. Maybe you're the only one who tries to improve, to learn, to evolve, to save money, to work on yourself, to set boundaries, to focus on your goals. And that makes you look strange to those who don't share the same values. Your discipline and lifestyle stand out. In many families, bad habits are normalized. Procrastination, lack of organization, financial irresponsibility, lack of self-care, victim mentality, dramatization. When you break away from that pattern, you stand out. And this bothers those who have been stagnant for years. Sometimes your family even tries to bring you down with phrases like, "What's the point? You've changed too much." Nobody in this family does that, or "You're exaggerating." But this only happens because your evolution exposes the comfort zone of those who refuse to grow. Your different values also show emotional maturity. You avoid pointless arguments, you don't tolerate disrespect, you don't accept emotional crumbs, and you stay away from behavior that harms you. That's evolution, not arrogance. If you feel like you live in a completely different way from your family, and they don't understand it, that's a powerful sign that you won't follow the same path they did. Your habits create your future, and your future will likely be far greater than the future of those who judge you today. Sign 5. You see things. Your family doesn't see you notice toxic patterns, destructive behavior, repetitive cycles, and emotional issues that everyone pretends don't exist. It's as if you have a deeper, more honest view of family dynamics, while others prefer to keep their eyes closed. This perception makes you the most conscious person in the system. You notice when someone manipulates, when someone plays the victim, when someone hides problems, when someone pretends everything is fine. You feel people's energy far more clearly than they express it. This can be exhausting, because the more aware you are, the more emotional responsibility you end up carrying, without wanting to, and often you are labeled as dramatic simply because you see what no one else wants to admit. But this perception is not a burden, it's a gift. People who see further always look strange to those who only see the surface. That's why you sometimes feel out of place, because your vision is beyond the emotional level of most of your family. This sign is one of the most important, because people who see patterns clearly are the ones who break them. You're the one who sees what needs to change, and you're the one strong enough to transform your family story. Sign 6. You don't tolerate drama, disrespect, or low energy. While some people seem to live off fights, gossip, and arguments, you've developed an emotional allergy to these environments. Things you once tolerated no longer make sense. You walk away because your peace has become your priority. You avoid pointless conflicts, you don't fall into provocations, and you prefer silence over situations that drain your energy. This makes you look cold to people who are used to chaos. But the truth is, it's self-control, something rare in many families. When you start setting clear boundaries, some family members may even feel offended. They were used to you accepting everything quietly, but now you've changed. And that change bothers those who benefited from your lack of boundaries. People with emotional maturity often look distant within their own family. This happens because maturity naturally distances you from environments that aren't evolving. You're growing, and growth separates you from old patterns. If you feel that your peace matters more than maintaining worn-out relationships, this shows you're on a much higher emotional level. This is one of the strongest signs of evolution, and one of the main reasons you're seen as the different one. Sign 7. You have above-average emotional intelligence. You can admit when you're wrong, understand your own emotions, control yourself, and reflect before reacting. This is extremely rare in families where people often act out of impulse, anger, or hurt ego. Emotional intelligence makes you calmer, more rational, and at the same time more sensitive to what truly matters. You think before you speak, observe before you judge, and solve problems before you argue. Something few people can do. Often this makes you seem cold or distant, but the truth is, it's maturity. It's you choosing not to fuel useless conflicts and not repeat behaviors that have destroyed relationships in your family for generations. Your emotional awareness allows you to break patterns that were passed down for decades. While many react without thinking, you analyze. While many explode, you understand. While many play the victim, you take responsibility. This makes you an outlier. And like every person who thinks differently, you might be misunderstood. But the truth is, your emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful weapons you have to reshape your story. Sign 8. You refuse to repeat your family's mistakes. Maybe you grew up seeing fights, lack of communication, financial problems, addictions, irresponsibility, or emotional chaos. And when you looked at all of it, you decided, I'm not repeating this. That decision alone makes you different. Unlike many who simply follow the family's flow, you are aware of what needs to be changed. You learned from what you lived. You transformed trauma into strength. You understood that the pain you inherited does not have to be the pain you leave for your children. And refusing to repeat mistakes is not arrogance. It's maturity. It's you taking on the role no one before you had the courage to embrace. It's you breaking cycles of suffering and creating healthier paths for the next generation. Many times, this makes you the different one, the difficult one, the exaggerated one, or the one who doesn't follow the norm. But the norm in your family may never have been healthy, and being the one who breaks the pattern might be what saves your lineage. If you've already decided your life story will not be a copy of those who came before you, then without a doubt, you are the cycle breaker. And this is one of the strongest signs someone can carry. Shot 9. You've always felt too responsible for your age. Maybe from a very young age, you carried weights that were not yours. Financial issues, emotional burdens, fear, insecurity, or difficult decisions. People who mature too early are always seen as different, because they are. While others live carefree, you were already thinking about the future. While others leaned on their parents, you were already trying to take care of yourself. Your responsibility grew too soon, making you stronger, but also more lonely. This early maturity shapes your character. It makes you someone reliable, someone who thinks before acting, someone who takes life more seriously. And even though this can make you feel tired, it also gives you enormous potential for growth. The problem is that this responsibility often distances you from your family, because you begin to realize that you think like an adult while many around you still behave like emotional children, and this widens the gap between you and them. This sign shows you are someone capable of going much further. People who mature early often become leaders, entrepreneurs, or individuals who transform their lives, precisely because they face challenges long before everyone else. Sign 10. You feel you were born to break cycles. Deep down, you feel you're not here to repeat your family's story. You feel like you were chosen to change the direction of things. And that feeling doesn't come from ego. It comes from an inner calling. It's a force pulling you toward a future completely different from the past you lived. You feel you carry a bigger mission, even if you can't explain it, an invisible responsibility, a strength that pushes you to improve, learn, grow, and refuse the mediocre life many accept. This is spiritual, psychological, and emotional at the same time. Cycle breakers often feel very alone because they are the first in their family to see beyond, the first to say enough, the first to fight against patterns normalized for decades. That requires courage few people have, but at the same time, that calling gives you strength. You feel you're building something for those who will come after you, that you're breaking a heavy chain and opening a new path. That's how new family destinies are created, by someone like you. If you feel you were born to break patterns, know this: you're living a purpose many people ignore. You are the different one, and that is what will change everything. Now that you've heard all the signs, you may have realized that what you once called weirdness was always a power. You are not the problem. You are the solution. You're the one cleaning up generations of emotional chaos and building a more conscious path. Every moment of displacement you felt happened because you were growing faster than the environment you came from. Your difference has always been strength, never weakness. And the more you evolve, the clearer it becomes that your story will not resemble the story of those who came before you. You are the cycle breaker, the one who thinks, feels, acts, and reacts differently. And that is exactly what will allow you to build an extraordinary life. Something many people in your family never had the vision, opportunity, or courage to pursue. Being different hurts. It's exhausting. It's lonely. But it also transforms. And this transformation will take you much further. You were the first to wake up in a place where many are still emotionally asleep. And those who wake up first always see farther. What matters now is that you trust your journey. Your path is unique. Your destiny is great. Your awareness is rare. And everything you faced up until today was preparing you for this exact moment, the moment you finally embrace who you really are. If any of these signs spoke deeply to you, comment below which one describes you the most. I'd love to hear your experience, because you are not alone, and your story can help others who also feel out of place. And if this video made you reflect on yourself and your family, don't forget to leave your like. That helps a lot so more people can find this message and understand that being different is a strength, not a burden. If you enjoy content about emotional growth, self-awareness, and stoicism, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any video that can transform your perspective on life. And if you want a part 2, or even a video about 10 signs you were born to be the leader of your family, comment below. I can bring even deeper content on this topic. Thank you for watching until the end. Remember, you are not the odd one. You are the first one to wake up. And awakenings never match the past. They match the future. See you in the next video.